Subtitles. Parker suddenly bumped into Jean, who was in the midst of heading out for an adventure. Parker was taken aback by the unexpected encounter and, in a moment of panic, instinctively reached out to contact Lanji's eye. Lanji's eye, with an expression of utter disbelief, stared at this unfortunate fellow. He couldn't believe his ears, and Jean was already fed up and ready to leave, but how could he miss this chance encounter with Parker? He dashed forward and yanked at the adventure bag. Parker saw Jean looking dazed and couldn't help but squat down to take a closer look. Jean fled at the sight of trouble, but was cornered by Parker before escaping. In the end, he was violently thrown to the ground by Parker. He swiftly picked up the handcuffs lying on the floor, preparing for action. But Jean knew if he got cuffed, it would be game over, so he flailed around desperately. In the chaos, he kicked Parker's sidearm away, then frantically grabbed the brick and smashed it at Parker. That move didn't knock Parker out. Instead, it made him even angrier, causing Jean to go weak in the knees, and he accidentally found the handgun. A thought quickly flashed through his mind, as if saying, "I would never dare to harm a police officer. I absolutely won't be the cause of a cop's death. Go on, shoot me." But the first bullet from the cop's gun was, of course, a blank. What a joke. Although Parker wasn't hurt, Jean felt an old sense of security wash over him, and he breathed a sigh of relief, subconsciously clutching his belt. It was starting to feel like a shooting contest. He had to take the situation seriously as Parker lunged forward to grab the gun, but he got shot in the chest by Jean again. This time, it was a real fatal hit, and Parker collapsed under his own gun, mixing rain and tears. Jean finally regained some security, but once calm, he had to grapple with the staggering mental weight of taking a life. He even thought about ending things, but remembering his friends out there living their lives ignited the rage within him. Life and revenge intertwined, and he pocketed Parker's backup magazines and sidearm before slipping away from the scene. The rain came pouring down, washing away all evidence clean, except for the wounds on Parker's body, which caught the police's attention. This incident quickly made the news, and Jean was so prepared that he seemed calm as he casually called Cantanyan. In the darkness of the night, Cantanyan started to open up his heart, and I used what Jean did as a topic of conversation. Catch those bad guys. Can you help me, Jean? It felt like he was talking to himself. Of course, he was also talking to Jean, hoping he would step out of the shadows and join the cops in catching crooks. Cantanyan's words struck a chord with Jean, who then headed to the police station for a little brainwashing session. He ended up rounding up a bunch of gang members and spotted the two guys he once loved amongst them. He turned away quietly, trembling uncontrollably, his mind replaying that horrific night. He saw those two losers walk out of the police station without a care in the world, even chatting excitedly about what to eat for dinner. He stopped wondering how those criminals could live so freely and followed them until he finally pinpointed their hideout. Since the law seemed ineffective, all he could rely on was himself. To make it all go smoothly, he decided to quit his job. Upon seeing the notice about his friend getting promoted, his feelings were a jumbled mess, and he hurried home. Before reaching upstairs, he met his friend's BF in the stairwell and accused her of disloyalty. Jean didn't want to argue, but became suspicious after noticing the bloodstains on the guy's pants. He rushed to his friend's house, prepared for anything, but what he saw was shockingly surreal. He was stunned. His friend had been knocked unconscious by her boyfriend, and he realized this was all because of that cunning jerk. In truth, his friend held a secret. She was helpless but feared that revealing the truth would hurt him. She knew her boyfriend would be at the parking garage, so she deliberately went to his car. Subtitles. She spun around in front of him and fiercely smashed into the rear window. Upon hearing the sound, her boyfriend flew into a rage. But after the police found the body, their suspicions quickly fell on Jean, though he didn't have time to worry about that, focusing instead on investigating nearby. Realizing he was running out of time for revenge, Jean finally opted to approach that loser's door, ready to act. Subtitles. He turned around without looking back and left immediately, unexpectedly. The man entirely forgot about the door lock and followed him in, feeling conflicted. Help! Help! But the cries for help turned into useless shouts, falling on deaf ears. Help! Help! No matter what happened, he could no longer escape. This case drew significant attention from the police, and Agent Khan was surprised to find that the DNA of the deceased matched that of the guy Jin had submitted. He realized Jin had most likely gone to extremes, but he chose not to make it public. Because he understood that Jin's actions were a desperate measure under dark laws, he quietly snuck into Jin's home. Through Jin's diary, Agent Kang was able to grasp that deep-seated pain and injustice. But the resourceful Jin appeared from behind and knocked him out in an instant. When he regained consciousness, he discovered that he had been tightly bound all over and was sitting on a chair, with Jin standing right in front of him holding his sidearm. "I'll help you. What should I do?" "AR divide by times A ring also thaumal you keep micro O stroke micro a pound. Pound E mount at the letter 3 C a half a circumflex a tilted divide by pounds and turned retroflex quarter a 3 O mount e grov e oscillilic letter 4 E 3 a circumflex liga charge a dagish degrees e or the grova letter G B to copyright times L. Don't dwell on regret, Jin, and don't make such a choice, he responded with a sense of helplessness. This is indeed my choice. My brother,